Whew. Flying out tonight to Nashville to make a record with my buddy Blake. I've got like 14 songs written. I don't know if we'll get to all of them. I don't know what the plan is. I feel really good about most of them. Feels weird, different than all the other records I've made. Feels like another day at the office in a way, and less like, oh, this is this like huge deal thing. And probably because I just didn't like fundraise for this record and, you know, make like a huge deal of it leading into it. So that's probably got something to do with it. But it does just feel kind of weird, and I love the songs that I've written. You just write so many songs, you're like, I don't know if these are any good. The Dirty 30 was just my first record. I just was like, oh, I wrote these songs, I want to make a record. And then Caesarea was like, this is the record that's going to get me famous or going to get me a booking agent, a record label, and like, to the next level. Honeysuckle Summer was like a record that this record is going to like help fix me, because it's such a low, dark, bad spot when I started writing that record, and kind of pulled myself out of it during the process of writing it, and that inspired it in a lot of ways. Going into it, I was like, I don't even know what this record is about. I don't know if I'm even ready for it. I know the songs aren't bad, but are they any good? I met Blake through the band he plays in, Sarah Shook and the Disarmers, played a show together in Tulsa, and I was like, hey, you should come on my podcast at some point. And during that episode, it became pretty apparent that some of our favorite artists are the same. He brought up a Sun Kill Moon record, Ghosts of the Great Highway, which I've been covering a song off that record, Glenn Tipton, since I started playing solo shows. Like, I love that record.
Ladies ain't the same anymore. Man, how deep they change.
After that podcast, I was thinking, maybe I want to make this next record with Blake. So I hit him up and was like, hey, would you be interested in producing my next record? And he loved the idea, and so set aside the time, and I bought a ticket to fly down to Nashville for a week. I didn't know him as a multi-instrumentalist, and so on day one, we lay down some scratch tracks, and then he's like, okay, let's get ready to do drums. By the end of that first day, I was just blown away, because he'd like play through the song one time, and then he'd be like, what do you think about that? And then we'd kind of talk through some different ideas.
Or do you want me to chill for a sec?
I think up top, like when I start singing, maybe not during the palm mute beginning, but maybe the full kit isn't really happening until the chorus.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe doing like something like that.
Yeah, let's give that a shot.
We'd start rolling, and 2 or 3 takes, he'd nail it. We did Avenue of the Giants first, his first time kind of playing along. During the solo section, he plays pretty much what the solo on the song ended up being. Hearing him from the hip play that solo, oh, I'm in good hands. I'm in really good hands. We didn't know each other super well before that process, but within a day or two, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a really fun record.
Listen to this song a lot, just like alone in my car. Do that. You play a shitty show that like no one goes to, and get back in my car and come back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really special time in my life. Such a cool voice.
I love how, like, understated everything about this band is. Like,
yeah.
Like, lyrically, it paints such a good picture with, like, so limited words. It's something I've never been great at.
Talk about the mail, please, Mac. I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? Pepe Sylvia, this name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail.
When we booked the studio time, I knew I had enough ideas for songs for a record. I only had a handful that were finished. The last 3 weeks before I flew down to Nashville, holed myself up in my room and put the finishing touches on everything. Some of them were ideas that I started writing over 10 years ago. There's one song that I wrote when I still lived in Salt Lake City. There's a video of me performing it on YouTube somewhere probably.
So much more to you than what you're letting on. If you're scared of what you're feeling, well, you're not the only one. I've been ripped to ribbons torn.
Yeah, I wrote it when I was really excited about this person that I had just met, and we were in this exciting romantic relationship. And then when that
ended, it became kind of hard for me to sing it. And so I just kind of like shelved it and just didn't really revisit it. Some of them were written in the past couple of years. One song specifically, I think I wrote like 12 verses for it and then got it down. It's not a 12-verse song. I'm not Bob Dylan.
Ain't no use in calling out my name, yeah. I can't hear you anymore.
Songs kind of all came from very different places in my life. And so when you look back on a collection of songs that weren't necessarily all written together or written with the same intent, it's interesting to kind of see if there's any through lines.
Black coat over a yellow sundress with her heart tied out on her arm.
In some ways, it's about looking and digging deeper into the things that you're afraid to dig into, that you've been avoiding digging into, that might be too painful to focus on and learn from. A lot of them are about loss of love or loss of loved ones, loss of innocence or loss of faith in the systems that uphold the status quo. But it's also like hopeful. I wouldn't call it a sad record. A couple songs that are a little downbeat, but it's mostly a really positive and hopeful record.
Steam like a bullet fired from the end of a gun.
Is it worth all this effort to make this record? And all the things that, like, also, am I going to be disappointed and annoyed and stressed out and feeling bad about myself in 6 months when this record comes out? I think I'm going to just try and enjoy each day and just like try and make the best thing that I can and not worry too much about what's going to happen down the road with it. It's hard not to because I'm just kind of jaded by all of it, like the music and the internet and just, you know, I feel like I'm in too deep at this point, but it's just like, whew, is it worth it? Is it really the right thing? So, who knows?
I mean, obviously you want a record to make money. That'd be awesome. Really, it's just like I would love for this record to allow me to travel more and play more shows and just continue to doing what I love. After having done this for a while, you kind of have different ideas of what like a record can do, and to reach a larger audience of people, we reach more music fans, people who appreciate the way my brain works and the way I write songs. Because it's such a long process to figure out, you know, how to release a record. That's part of why I've decided to start releasing the record on Patreon, to get people a little primed and excited for the new record, but to just keep people interested. And also, making records is kind of a net loss. It's not a money maker. You spend so much on studio time, you spend so much on mixing, mastering, the whole process of it. It's hard to make that money back on streams alone. I'm hoping that the Patreon for the next few months while I'm planning the release can kind of help subsidize the costs of marketing the record and pressing the record and all of those things. And in return, people can hear the record before you can anywhere else.
We've made a pretty fucking incredible record, if it's not like weird for me to say that about a record that I helped write and make. Blake's been absolutely amazing. We've had so much fun. I don't know. God damn it, this is fogging up again. I don't know, I'm just so excited about this record. It's gonna be a game changer for me. There's some songs on there that I think are just universally just like really good songs. It doesn't matter what kind of music you're into, you like these songs. So I'm excited to see where this record goes, where it takes me, and like what's next. You know, it's not gonna come out for probably 10 months. It's gonna be a while, so really thankful for this experience and excited about it. I don't know, I think good things are coming. Yeah.
And now for me it's like, oh, this record is about continuing on, you know, about like still believing that this is the path I'm supposed to be on, even though, you know, I was supposed to get famous 2 records ago.